two older sisters who, they used to go to just Saturday morning acting classes in our local community centre. Really low-key thing. They just did it because it was nearby. Short films with student filmmakers and just kind of went on from there.
I was looking at your IMDb that said one of your first major roles was in Matthew McConaughey dragon movie, Rain of Fire.
Pretty kind of mediocre movie.
Really? You're allowed to say that?
Well, who's gonna care, Who's gonna kill?
Yeah.
It's not really, I don't know, there's no well maybe I'm not allowed to say that, I don't know. Well, I don't know, really. No, I haven't seen it in years, yeah, sorry, anyway. I remember, well, they actually, I got cast just because they filmed it, in Ireland, they filmed it, I think they filmed it in Wicklow, which is beside Dublin, so it was just a matter of bandying together as many kind of young, Irish kids as possible, so it wasn't really a special kind of auditioning process. I do kind of remember, just kind of really needing to go to the bathroom at one point, and I was like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom there, but just wait, we're filming, and you just have to wait because we're about to film. I was like, okay, and then I was like, I really need to go. No, just wait a little bit. So then I was like, I just have to kind of just wipe myself. So I had to, as an 8-year-old or 9-year-old kid, I had to piss my pants instead of Rain of Fire. So maybe that's why I think it's a mediocre movie.
Did anybody notice?
I really hope they didn't. I tried to be as cool and collected as possible, and then I acted my socks off. So I didn't let it affect my performance. That's rule number one of acting. If you piss yourself, don't let it affect you. It was Marlon Brando, yeah. It was Marlon Brando.
So then, your first big role was as a little boy. And Batman Begins, how did that come about?
He was christened, little boy. His dad is John Boy. How did that come about? Just luck, just luck. He just went to a random audition, and as a young actor, as an old actor, you just go to loads of auditions, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you don't. So this one, I was just lucky and just got the part for some reason. But it was really cool because they filmed it in a place called Shepperton Studios, I think that's what it's called, outside London, and they basically built the whole of kind of this fake Gotham City in this gigantic old warehouse. And I think it was like an airship warehouse for blimps or something. But it was literally you could literally kind of get lost within this Gotham City. It was so realistic. Or maybe it's because I was really small. I don't know, maybe it was really but that was cool, that was really cool. I only filmed for a few days because it was a pretty small part, but very, very, very memorable, cool experience.
Were you directed by Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, I remember when I was trying to act scared at one point. I obviously wasn't acting very scared, so he was like, we need to, you're an awful actor. No, he didn't say that. He was like, just kind of imagine, your sister. You have sisters? And I was like, yeah, just imagine them, in danger, and how would that make you feel? And I was kind of like, I wouldn't really care. So I was like 9. I'm like, girls, I hate my sisters. So that was kind of the thought process. So that was his One Direction, which I didn't really respond to, and he's not wonderful director. I'm joking, he was very cool. I just remember him, memory kind of changes these things, but the memory I have of him is in this cool, almost detective style trench coat and just being really, really relaxed, Because if I was a director, I'd be running around and freaking out and losing my hair, where I remember him just being really, really calm and collected, and I think that's a good quality to have in a director. Yeah.
And then we come to the big one.
I think we're going to talk about Shrooms, the indie Irish horror flick. Where I played. But I didn't play little boy, I played lonely twin. I played both twins. I got there twice. was I auditioned, again, just like a really quick audition, just auditioned like 1 or 2 scenes, and Dan and Dave were in the audition who create the show and write the show. And they gave me a little bit of direction, and they seemed to kind of enjoy my performance, so I was slightly optimistic, but you don't want to get your hopes up too much with these things, so I kind of put it out of my mind, and then I think I heard that they wanted me for the part, but they were filming during my like kind of what's like the SAT equivalent in Ireland, which I had to sit and I wanted to sit, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just have to give up the part. And then they changed around the filming for whatever, they changed around the schedule for whatever reason. So then I knew that I could definitely do the part, and I'd be free, and yeah, I was over the moon. I remember being very, very, very happy.
Do you remember which scenes you auditioned with?
It was the scene of, I don't know if it, yeah, I think it's in the very first episode. It was in the pilot anyway, where the whole Lannister gang go to Winterfell, and Joffrey's kind of squaring up against Robb Stark, and I think they're talking about like archery or something like that, and he's kind of, Joffrey's trying to assert himself. And I just remember Dan and Dave kind of like actually lolling during my audition. And I wasn't sure whether they were, I was like, maybe they're laughing at how bad the performance is, but I think they were laughing at how kind of mean and cruel my portrayal was, in almost like a kind of camp, over the top way. So I was like, maybe that's a good thing. So,
had you read the books before you started filming?
No, I actually hadn't even. Oh, before I started filming, I read the first book, yeah. But before the audition, I actually hadn't even heard of the book series. I'm an idiot. But yeah, before we filmed the first season, I read the first book. Mainly to get a sense of the character of Joffrey, but also just to get a sense of the world and everything else.
Why did you stop after the first one?
Because I don't have the attention span to read those kind of books, I applaud anyone who can. I already was kind of studying in university with philosophy, and that was taking up enough space in my brain, so I wasn't really able to keep track of all these characters. I need like a kind of a spider diagram next to me. There were like just constant footnotes, like referencing back. So I actually, it's not because I didn't enjoy the books, I enjoyed them a lot, but I feel like I wouldn't be able to do anything else other than reading, because my attention span is just filled with The Simpsons and YouTube videos.
So you run the show for slightly more than 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it, was there a scene that you felt like you did your best work, you enjoyed the most?
I don't know if there's a scene where I did my best work. I mean, I think the final scene that I kind of appear in is when I'm like, Joffrey's corpse is like, can everyone hear me by the way? Yeah. So Joffrey's corpse is like, I can move to a different microphone. check. That's probably gonna mess up the sound. Yeah. Screw it, sorry. But there's a scene where like Joffrey's corpse is like lying on like a plinth in the set, and I just kind of got to sleep for the whole day, which is pretty amazing. So that was definitely a fun experience. I don't know if I did my best work, because I would kind of, literally just kind of fall asleep in the middle of it. And they kind of put these not sacrificial, but ceremonial stones on my eyes. So when you're kind of like dozing off, and then you kind of wake up and you realize that you've been asleep and you shouldn't have been, you kind of go like that, and then like I realized that like they're acting and they're filming. I'm like, oh. So that was the one I maybe enjoyed the most, but it was also the one that I gave my worst performance.
So you had a lot of scenes where you had to sort of be very vicious and cruel.
Mm-hmm.
Did that affect you in any way? Did you feel like you needed to sort of compartmentalize yourself on those days?
Thankfully not, no. Thankfully I'm not a good enough actor to actually kind of believe the things that my character believes. It's very much like, when you go on to a film set, you'll realize that the very visceral reality that you see in the TV show is a product of a huge amount of processing and editing and storytelling that really is almost not present at all on the day of the filming, because you basically go and put your makeup on and put your costume on and wait in your caravan trailer thing for an hour, and then you go to the set and you film for like 3 minutes, and then they change around the lights and the camera angle, and you wait for an hour, and then you film for another 3 minutes. And it's this very distended, kind of boring, tedious process. That means that, even for those 3 minutes of filming, it's if you're a really good actor, you can completely believe what you're doing in those 3 minutes, but, you're yourself, one is oneself for 99.9% of the day of filming, so for that 0.01%, you're this other character, and it for me anyway, I just kind of say the lines in a normal way. I don't really get into the emotions too much, thankfully, because then I'd probably go crazy.
So you didn't read the books. Did you know ahead of time that you were going to die?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I that was one of the first things I did when I heard I got the part. I kind of looked at the Wikipedia summary of the books and my character, because it's like, if you get a job, if you get a new job, and you kind of know that at some point you're definitely going to be fired from it, you're going to kind of check online to see when you're going to be fired. So I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to do. So that's what I did. So the whole thing wasn't a surprise. I mean, I would have been happy to have one episode, one season in the whole thing. So the fact that, as you say, I had 3 or 4, it was an immense privilege.
How did you feel when you found out that you weren't going to stick through the end, when you found out that the appearance had died halfway through?
Yeah, I didn't care that much, because it's like, 4 is enough. 4 seasons, or like 3 seasons and 2 episodes. That's enough. It's a lot. You have to kind of end it at some point. And yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like the novelty kind of wears off after a while. And I think everyone in the cast still absolutely loves kind of performing and acting in the show. But I kind of, my dad always says to kind of leave a party, wanting more. You should never be like the last lead and everyone's kind of sleepy and cranky, and it's like, this is awful. You should kind of leave a little, late, but not so late that it's bad. The energy is still there. So I kind of feel like I left at the right time.
So I heard you did watch the show because you didn't like watching yourself on screen.
Yeah.
Do you watch it now that you're gone?
No, there's too much to catch up on. I haven't a clue what's going on. Like this, it's crazy. I was like, in my mind, all these characters are still alive, and everyone's in this place, and those people are in that place, and they have these motivations. And now everything's just screwed around so much that it's a completely different show. I have no idea. I mean, even when I got the scripts, I kind of only read my scenes and everything. Just 'cause, I'm just selfish. Yeah, maybe I should get into it. I mean, I hear it's good. It always wins Emmys. And I hear the acting is really good in this. Yeah, maybe I should give it a shot.
So after you left the show, you gave this great talk at the Oxford Union where you talked about sort of feeling dislocated by fame, commodified. Do you still feel like that one?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think you can kind of give in to that side of things very easily. I mean, in the Oxford talk, I was kind of talking about myself a little bit, but also just in general. But on a personal level, I think you can definitely let it get to you. But I mean, I really try to not, and to try and live as normal a life as possible. Almost to an extreme extent. Like my flat in London where I live at the moment is like really not very nice at all. But I mean, I'm there because I like living in the area, and I like living with the people I live with. But in terms of like this kind of ostentatious showing of wealth or kind of privilege or status, it's mainly the status thing that I find uncomfortable. People can be wealthy and not be mean, but feel it's just the status thing of feeling like some people when they become famous or celebrity, they feel better, they feel more worthy of the titles, and that's what makes me really uncomfortable. So I try and eschew that as much as possible on a day-to-day basis.
How do you feel at events like this then? Because if you're up here,
I'm literally raised above you guys. Talking in a magnified voice. I'm literally like I am better than all of you. I am a divine entity. That's my two gigantic screens. Like, hello! Well, yeah, I mean, I think, ironically, it almost works in the way that I want it to, because if you only see me on the TV show or, I don't know, you see me on a magazine cover, not that I really do those, but if you kind of imagine me as an actor or as like this kind of celebrity or this otherworldly creature, then that's how you're going to view me, and that's just going to be your reality. Whereas if you actually get to meet me and I get to meet you and we get to hang out a little bit and we get to know each other, then that kind of divide or that weird status thing is dissolved, I feel, and we can just enjoy each other as people rather than like just gigantic screen monster. Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about your theater company.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, so you started it in.
I'll give you your brown bag full of money later. Thank you for mentioning the.
No, I saw the shows because I like a lot, so I'm going to talk about that.
Did you see the show? Yeah. Where's the space?
Yeah.
Where's the space? No? That's cool.
So you started it in 2011.
Yeah.
With some friends from university.
Yeah.
And what did you get out of these sort of theater projects that you weren't getting from TV and film work?
I think what I got out of them was a real investment in the creative side of things. I really enjoy the most the kind of writing, the world creation, and coming up with wacky characters and songs and scenarios. That's what I love the most. And I do perform in a lot of the shows, and the performing is fun. But what I love the most is, as I say, feeling involved in the writing side of things. And I loved acting on Game of Thrones, but you kind of feel like you're kind of just this small cog in a big wheel, and you're literally, you provide a service, but it's a very kind of nominal service where you kind of just go and say the lines, and you're valued, but you're just as valued as kind of the coffee stand or whatever. The coffee stand provides a service, and so do the actors. But whereas in the theater company, I feel like it's a more holistic experience where I get to experience producing and performing and writing and just coming up with wacky ideas, which I really enjoy.
So the play is called Bears in Space. If nobody's seen it, it is literally about bears in space. They're puppets.
We don't like to mislead our audience.
So how did you come up with the idea of these sort of intergalactic bears that are cryogenically frozen and woke up and have to save their captain?
Yeah, that's a good explanation. So basically, so there are four of us in the show, and Owen, who wrote it, and Aaron. So it's a puppet show, so there are loads of puppets in it, and colourful characters. So Owen and Aaron wanted to write like a TV show, like an educational TV show for kids, unlike the kind of Sesame Street equivalent in Ireland, kind of teaching kids about Irish history and that kind of thing via these kind of two Russian cosmonauts. I don't know where they come from the idea. And then we kind of got offered to perform a show kind of last minute at a theatre tent in a music festival. We just wanted free tickets for the music festival, so we decided to just go with this idea about the two bears, because that was what was rattling around in Owen's head at the time. And then it kind of just went from there. We kind of developed it more, and we put it on the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and then we brought it to Dublin, and then to London, and then we performed it in just this month. And but yeah, it's basically like, I mean, if you guys know like the Mighty Boosh, like they're a big influence. Like the kind of Monty Python, like Mighty Boosh, maybe a bit of Adventure Time, Futurama, that kind of thing, where it's very kind of childlike and surreal, but it's a lot of the people that enjoy it most are kind of people my age or older or younger, just that kind of general demographic.
That was everyone.
So nobody here can see it. But what are you guys working on next?
Well, speaking of like TV shows, we're looking into the possibility of maybe progressing this idea into, I mean, my dream would be to make it into some kind of like Adult Swim style, short little burst of wackiness and craziness, and maybe like a multimedia thing of puppets and animation or live action puppets, something like that, something new and interesting. So we're looking into that at the moment. And then, yeah, we're constantly producing new shows. Our director, Dan, is doing a show about teaching kids about like astrophysics in Dublin at the moment. I actually know nothing about astrophysics, so maybe I should go and I could learn something. But that's again kind of cool. It's like a multimedia thing, a lot of projections, and I can't wait to see it. And then we had a show that was an adaptation of Virgil's Aeneid, which is like a classical Roman adventure story, I suppose, like adventures. And we did that for a Dublin Theatre Festival, so there's always stuff on the go.
Was that also with puppets?
There were puppets, yeah. I mean, it's like, it's a good kind of rule of thumb in life. If you feel like people aren't kind of listening to you or you're not getting enough attention, just kind of do everything you do just with the puppet, and people will look at you. So it's good to keep kind of people's attention via these cool objects.
All right, so we've got about half an hour left, so I wanted to open up the audience to questions. So yes, I think if you can just...
You don't have to ask anything.
Or we can also just sit here and sign.
But yeah, we can just kind of meditate, Yeah, thank you.
Right on the stage in my seat.
Oh, cool.
Crazy. So I wanted to know how much you relied on improvising versus rehearsing so much, because you had so many accents to keep straight with the characters.
Yeah, so I mean, to fill people in, like the three other guys in the show, they're kind of like really close friends of mine, and we've performed and produced these things, these little shows for years and years. So we can kind of read each other's minds. So Owen Quinn, who wrote the piece, he's a really, really good writer and wrote a really strong script. But also, when you're kind of saying the same jokes every night, sometimes you kind of get a bit bored and want to kind of change things a little bit. So sometimes, just to make each other laugh or whatever, we change a line slightly or put in like an in-joke just for us. But I mean, the script is pretty solid, but like a lot of the jokes in the script would come from improvisations that we would do. So I'd say it's like 70% scripted and then like 30% improvised. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, I'm Lauren. Was there a different way that you would have liked to die, and what was your favorite scene to shoot?
Well, my favorite scene to shoot was, it probably was my death scene, just because but just like the whole wedding feast thing, because we got to film in Croatia, in Dubrovnik, which was just beautiful, and the whole thing, there were so many cast members involved in the scene, so it was just like a nice family atmosphere, and it was just really cool. But it was also challenging because it's hard to like pretend to kind of choke to death, I don't know if anyone has ever choked to death before, but when I was trying to prepare for the scene, I kind of really wished that I had at some point kind of almost choked to death, because it's hard to imagine. I don't know, it's just difficult. Because the worst is when you have like an unconvincing death in a TV show or movie. So I was really anxious to make it seem convincing. But they have like really cool special effects and makeup and stuff. So I don't know, like maybe like Joffrey dying in his sleep, because that would be really easy for me as an actor. I wouldn't have to like worry about trying to make it convincing, I could just kind of literally fall asleep and they could just film me, and then just maybe have like a surtitle being like, he dies. The storytelling, I don't have to do any storytelling. It's just done for me. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, Jack. I don't know if you remember me, but I remember boxing with you at
Trinity.
Yeah, I remember, yeah. Yeah. Hey, what's up?
It took me a while to catch on to Games of Thrones. My sister kept telling me, you gotta watch it. And I had no idea you were in it.
Yeah.
And it took me about maybe a year and a half to figure out, Joffrey? But he's not that name.
Yeah.
And by the way, Barrison's face was very good.
Oh, thank you. You like that as well. Thank you.
My question is with collapsing parts, are you ever considering writing any projects yourself?
Not really, because as I say, I love writing, but I don't like the pressure of actually having to write the dialogue and come up with, to meet deadlines and that kind of thing. So I like putting it off to someone more responsible, and then I can kind of just be the adult child in the room, just being weird and trying to be funny and make people laugh. So that's my kind of dream position, which it's kind of worked out pretty well thus far. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi. My question is, I know you mentioned about the favorite scenes and that sort of thing. Was there a specific Joffrey scene that was really difficult for you to shoot?
Yeah, as I say, the death scene was pretty difficult. I suppose, that's the one that sticks out because it was just a very kind of technical bit of acting where you couldn't really kind of get lost in it. Sometimes you kind of get muddled up with the long speeches, and you have to get up at 5 a.m. and everyone's kind of looking at you and the cameras. It's basically like this, it's like you have all these people looking at you in cameras and all this stress, and you're like, I literally can't remember any of these lines. So that can be stressful sometimes, but in general, I pretty much enjoyed filming every scene. I didn't really find that any of the scenes too difficult, apart from when there was maybe, as I say, a technical side of acting. Say there's a scene where I get hit in the face by a cow or feces, and I'm walking through I can't remember the name of the area. King's Landing, Fleabottom, yeah. And I kind of get hit by a peasant, and it's they would film the scene, and I'd be walking along, and they'd be trying to get this one shot of me being hit, and it was just a kind of spongy material. Obviously, it wasn't real cow feces, as I said. But it's when when it's you've set up this scene, and it's the director yells action, and you're walking, and you know that on your 4th or 5th step, something projectile is going to come and hit you. It's really hard not to kind of flinch or act like you're not going to be hit by this sponge. So those kind of technical side of acting where you kind of have to trick your brain, I find it.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm in my senior year of theater school. How does one get into your theater group?
Company, yeah. Well, I think you'd have to move to Dublin. So we can talk about flight options. I don't know. It's funny because there's a core kind of group of people that founded it, myself included, and for the most part we all went to the same university in Dublin and hung out in the same drama class. So you might have to go back in time, or a drama society rather. You might have to go back in time and enroll, and then hang out with us in the drama society.
All right, I'll see you.
But in a sincere way, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter, so you just get in contact with us then, and this time around with the show Bears in Space, it was our first time performing in America, so we don't really do that much. But hit us up on Facebook, Collapsing Horse.
Let's see, Danny Wilson.
No worries.
Hi. So I was just wondering, were you happy were you satisfied with the way your character died? Because I was never satisfied with the way Joffrey died. I always felt like he should have lasted longer, maybe eventually be killed by area or something. His death just seems so random the way it happened.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I suppose from a story storytelling point of view, it kind of it was the motivation for a lot of what came after, you know, in terms of the trial and the split up between Cersei and Tyrion. So I think, however way it happened, I think it was important for the story that Cersei kind of suspected Tyrion, where she put the kind of irrational blame on him. But in the manner of how it was done, yeah, as I say, as an actor, I kind of like it to be just as simple as possible. Yeah, maybe, I mean, what's the most simple way to die? Yeah, as I say, dying in your sleep is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know what would be like an ironic way for him to die. Maybe like shot by a crossbow or something, I don't know. Or maybe he could just die in a really dumb way, like falling off a cliff or something. You know, like the Darwin Awards of like the awards for the dumbest deaths. I think that would be a fitting way to die. I don't know what the dumbest death would be. Does anyone have any suggestions? Gummy worms. Eating too many gummy worms. Eating gummy worms to death. That's a really dumb way to die.
Yeah, I just wish Ari could have gotten more revenge on you. You know, she got both her pride, but you know, would have been nice.
Yeah, for a bit of catharsis. Well, I'm sorry.
Hello, Jack.
Hello.
Very nice to be in your presence. I'm a
Thank you.
big fan of Game of Thrones. You're an amazing actor, but I think that Joffrey is a character that a lot of people love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, have you, well, I'm sure you've been recognized in public, but when you are recognized, do fans ever confuse the sweet, nice person you are with the sadistic character you play?
Thankfully, never. No. Thankfully, I've evaded any of that stuff. It's a question I get asked all the time. It's like, but no. I mean, I love coming to these conventions, and I love meeting people on the street or just hanging out, you know, getting photos, and not one. You know, my point is that I've met a lot of fans and I've experienced a lot of fan experiences, and 0.0000% of those fan experiences have been in any way negative. So I think every fan thinks that every other fan is like a crazy fan. In actual fact, everyone's pretty much just as sane as each other, or insane. But either way, there's you know, everyone's on the same page. So no, everyone's pretty okay in the brain that they can realize that I'm an actor and I'm not actually Joffrey. Maybe it's a shirt.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
Hi. So this is a little bit random, which I think is okay. I promised my roommate that if all of my questions were answered, I would ask this, and they all were. She's from Donegal.
Okay.
And
The place in Ireland.
yeah, sorry, she's from Ireland. She's Irish. She and I get into like heated debates about what you guys call soda. So do you call soda fizzy juice?
No. Yeah, but Donegal is weird. Like Donegal is a weird part of Ireland.
My family's in Donegal.
What?
My family.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like. No, I mean it like kind of objectively is one of the most beautiful parts, but it's just weird because it's north of the Republic of Ireland, so it has a lot of cultural. It's obviously part of the Republic of Ireland, but because it's very close to Northern Ireland, sometimes weird things from there feed in.
She's like very bitter against like the Dubs because of
Yeah, for sure.
my family is from Dublin also. So this is very off topic.
I don't know what I call it. I can't.
You call it drink because she said to give you the option of fizzy juice or drink.
Drink. No, you call alcohol drink. You'd say like.
She's really weird. I don't know.
But that's what I mean. But Donegal is weird, so. Yeah, no worries. No worries. She's weird.
Do you have like a moment that's like funny out of like shooting with like the cast and crew that just something really wacky happened and you just all laughed about it? It's like a running joke between you guys.
It's a lot of pressure. No, I mean the honest answer is no, really. Probably like the only running joke is like complaining about something. But makes me kind of sad now that we don't have a real nephew. Maybe I'm not as good friends with them as I thought.
We like you. At least have us. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I will go banish myself. I'm sorry.
It's fine, thank you for the interest.
I make you cry.
I'm an actor, I was joking, I was kidding around. Just joshing.
Sorry, I'm gonna banish myself. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. But no, I suppose maybe we're just all boring, you know, reality.
Hi, well, I really like your dance scene. I actually have these bookmarked here
Mm.
in a storm of storage. And I was wondering if at any point this weekend you'd be able to sign the page for me when you die.
Absolutely, yeah. For sure.
Okay, and another question. He was just such an interesting character, but if you were to play a different character, what would it be?
Probably Hodor. Just because, like, who wouldn't? He's the best. You know, he's just so cool, and you know, he's kind of, as an actor point of view, you know, you just have to learn one line, so you don't have to worry about forgetting lines at all. And I mean, I don't know how heavy Isaac is, but yeah, maybe he's kind of heavy, but now he's probably quite heavy. But no, I think it would be a good part for sure. I think he's one of the best parts. Yeah, no worries.
Hi. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think you could do like your best job impression like right now. Say anything.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What's your name? Sophia. No, I won't say that. Sophia, who the hell do you think you are, demanding these things of me in front of all these people? You've made a very, very foolish mistake.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question regarding your experience with the cast and if there's any members that you were closest to and that if you still keep in touch with them.
A little bit, yeah. Well, Finn Jones, who plays Loris Tyrell, I think he might be here tomorrow for a little Marvel thing. I hope he will be anyway. If people don't know, he's Mr. Iron Fist. Franchise, I don't know what you call it, like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones stuff. The new Marvel thing. I don't know.
We can say show.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're all in the same universe, right?
Yeah, it's a television universe.
Yeah. Right. So it's a TV show. Is that what you're trying to say? Interesting. So yeah, I count him as a good friend, and yeah, we just get on really well. And I mean, because I was living in Dublin for a lot of filming. And no one really lives in Dublin apart from a few of the actors. I never really got to hang out that much, but you know, it's kind of one of those weird things. It's kind of like whenever you see an actor, even if you don't know them very well, you have this odd shared experience that you know, very few people in the world have had, but you have had them, or you've had a very similar experience by virtue of acting on the show. So. Even if you don't know them very well, you seem to kind of click or connect with them. So whenever I meet an actor, I always happen to get on with them, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marley.
Hello.
Can I have a physical?
Yeah, right on. Hit it up. That's cool. cool. Right on. Right on. Okay, right on. This one, right on. That's cool.
Hello.
Yeah, that's cool. There you go.
I'm Kim. So one of my favorite Joffrey scenes and Tyrion scenes is actually right after the cow feces incident when they get back into safety and kind of have this big back and forth screaming match. Can you kind of talk about what it was like to act across from your dick in that moment and how that scene kind of came about?
It was really cool, yeah. I mean, again, we were filming in like basically the epicenter of old Dubrovnik, which is, I mean, as I say, I just absolutely love. I mean, I've been there as a tourist as well. So it's basically like being in the center of this incredible old town that's usually teeming with tourists, but I don't know, the mayor must have been paid off by HBO or whatever, so we got to film there. And so yeah, it was in this really just old place that probably no one was able to really go, like in this old kind of building type thing. And yeah, it was, I remember David Nutter, who has directed a lot of the episodes, that was the first time I was directed by him, and it might have been his first episode directing, and it was cool because he was like really, he was like, oh, I'm such a big fan of the show, you know, I'm such a nerd, and I love your performance. So it was weird, kind of being directed by someone who was kind of really into the show already, and yeah, it was really cool to act it with Peter in that scene, and I kind of remember like kind of really going for it, you know, really kind of screaming at him, and you know, just really kind of trying to get into the moment. And then like we call cut and we're hanging out, and I remember just Peter kind of being like, nice, that's good. Nice. So I kind of feel like I got some fist bump kudos from Peter in that moment. So that was fun, and it's just cool kind of losing your rag and just being like, ah! You know, it's cool. So yeah, really fun scene to film.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
No worries.
Hey, do you want to Netflix and Simpsons?
I mean, I mean, we're going to be watching a lot of Simpsons, if that's what you mean. We're going to be doing this. Is it Simpsons on Netflix? Maybe. Yeah, we can make it happen. We can figure it out. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. Let's do it. So long as it's, you know, nowhere after like season 11, you know. Okay, yeah. Nothing after season 11. I'm sorry.
So my question is, you study philosophy.
I thought you already asked your question.
So which school of thought would you say that you adhere to?
I don't know. It's a difficult question. I did my dissertation on Wittgenstein and the Tractatus. So I suppose you could say like analytical philosophy, but at the same time my dissertation was kind of on Wittgenstein's anti-philosophy and his, you know, not necessarily that he meant his argument to be put this way, but I took it that he was kind of making an argument against philosophy, and saying that philosophy is inherently kind of ridiculous and nonsensical. So in a way, analytic philosophy, but in a way, no aspect of philosophy. Yeah, which is ironically kind of a continental way to look at it. Right, guys? Sorry, thanks for the question.
Hi, well, thank you, one, for the autograph earlier today, and
No
I was
worries.
also wondering, was there an actor on Game of Thrones that you particularly enjoyed going scenes with?
I mean, without sounding like cliche or mawkish, like everyone obviously was very, very fun to film with, so, but I mean, I remember working with Rory McCann a lot, who played the Hound, and yeah, we just clicked. I mean, I don't know whether it was because we just worked a lot together, and if you're kind of forced to hang out together, then you might just kind of get along, but we just really clicked and really got along, and I haven't seen him in years, but I really kind of valued his friendship, and he's just a really, really cool guy. And then, you know, kind of being around people like Peter Dinklage and Conor Hill, who plays Varys, they're just a lot of fun to have around because they really like banter off each other, and they're kind of like these, like, I don't know, kind of bullies, but like in a fun way, kind of just, I keep trying to use like not use Irish words, but like to slag, I don't know if that's a word here, to like kind of make fun of in a charming way. So they're really kind of fun to be around. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
How you doing?
Hi.
I'm a big fan. I've been following you work for like a half hour or so.
Yeah.
You seem like a great guy. You got a show going on with you.
Hey, thanks.
My question is, do you have any advice for young actors looking to come up, looking to start, whatever?
I mean, I think the one piece of advice is to just do as much of it as possible, because you learn from mistakes. You know, I was lucky that I was able to do a huge amount of acting early on. You know, in a kind of a low stakes setting, just in front of my friends or family, or in these short student movies, as I say. And you know, no one's born a perfect actor. You know, you have to learn, and you can either learn, you know, in an acting school if you want, or you can learn by reading books, or you can learn by actually just acting. And you know, what I did a lot. I mean, I love movies, and I used to love watching movies as a kid, and to watch them just for entertainment purposes, but also to kind of have in the back of my mind what made an actor good and what made an actor bad. So to maybe kind of always have a running dialogue in your head about what that is and what it is that makes the character engaging and convincing. But then on the other side, to just actually do it. You know, make short films with your friends, or try and rent, you know, a cheap theater space and just do a monologue from a play, or just anything. You know, do like a poetry slam, anything that just keeps you acting regularly, because you'll learn and you'll get better, and you'll enjoy it more because you'll actually be doing it.
Real quick, favorite movie?
It's a tie between Fantasia and 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Wow.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Alright, so when you have, you know, your lady friends come over to watch some Netflix, do you ever pull the crossbow out the closet, or like, you saw this coming?
Come on, buddy, who's asking?
I just want to know if that works.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly something phallic going on in that scene, if that's what you're alluding to. I mean, what kind of techniques do you have for seduction?
I just wonder if the crossbow technique ever works.
Well, maybe you can go and kind of test it out for me. You can be my hamster, and we can exchange details, and we can see how it works out. I think it's a very specific type of person that would enjoy that. So I think there are websites or kind of apps that you can look up and find. Because I mean, doing that on someone who isn't into it could be a threat, but doing it with someone who is into it could be a real turn on.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Hi, I'm receiving Irish citizenship in a few months, so how should I celebrate?
Oh wow, that's so cool. Geez, so many things. Well, you could. Oh wow, you should go to. Well, are you moving over there, or are you just?
No, I'm staying here.
Oh.
A few pubs?
Pardon me?
Some pubs, right?
Some pubs, yeah. I'm trying to think of like if there's a good movie. I mean, there's a Liam Neeson and Alan Rickman movie called Michael Collins, which is about the 1916 Revolution, which is okay. It's kind of a bit cheesy, but that's a good one. Or you should read. Do you know what you should read? There's a poem by Flann O'Brien called A Pint of Plain. I think it's called A Pint of Plain, and you should read that and drink a pint of Guinness. While you're there. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Well, you're dressed as Daenerys, right? You're not dressed as Jon Snow. Then probably Jon Snow. No, I have no clue. I mean, I don't. This isn't like a spoiler because I know zero about the show, and like I literally know nothing about literally. But someone came up with this theory that they told me at a convention recently that like someone's gonna like melt down the Iron Throne. Yeah, and like I don't know, because it has like the Valyrian steel that will like overcome the White Walkers or whatever. So I think that's kind of a cool idea that like the monarchy is literally dissolved, and yeah, it's a cool analogy. Yeah.
And this will be our last question.
Hi, I'm Sierra.
Hi.
As someone who's experienced both, I would like to know if you prefer working in theater or doing film.
Probably theater. As I say, it depends on who you're working with. I take working with friends over not working with friends every time. But in general, the theater, I feel like you can get into it more. As I say, the kind of process of working for screen can be tedious and stop-starty and staccato. So working for stage, you can kind of feel more. It feels more fluid as an actor. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.